Hello everyone, my name is Protesilaos, also known as Prot. In this video I want to talk to you about a program called notmuch. At its core, notmuch is a command line utility that indexes and searches through a local mail.dir directory. It doesn't do anything other than that. So it will not fetch email for you, it will not communicate with servers to sync the state between your computer and the remote, and it will not send email for you either. Those different tasks have to be handled by other tools, and those tools are easy to set up, so it's not anything intimidating, but it's something for you to know. So in my .emacs, I have documentation for the entire toolkit, and also I provide links to my configuration files that can further help you set things up. What I want to do in this video is talk about the front end to the command line utility that is implemented as an Emacs package. So this is notmuch.el, and it is developed by the same people that develop notmuch. In fact, if you install the package from your distro's package archive, the notmuch package, you will also get the notmuch.el file, and you can start using it right away, which is what I am doing here. So let's start with the demo. I want to hit the command that brings up the main notmuch interface. You can see in my mode line the key binding and the command associated with it. This buffer has sections that are configurable. So this is one section with the saved searches, and this is another one. There are some other sections as well, but I have removed them. Actually, I would have removed this as well, the recent searches, but I thought it was good for our demo to keep it here. So let's start with a generic search, and we will gradually build up from there. We hit the letter S, and we want to supply some search terms. Of course, to be effective with this tool, you need to read the man pages, and you need to have a sense of how things work on the command line. This is just an interface, but of course you can start small, you can just learn the basics and then gradually work your way from there. So let's say I want to search for a tag, and let's say that this tag is list. Let's say I want to search for that tag. It contains all my mailing lists that I have subscribed to, and also date, and we want to say, you can pass, for example, today, or you can pass an absolute date, or you can pass a range. There are all sorts of options, and we are good to go. Let's hit the return key. We have all the items that match our search terms over here. We can change the order that those appear in, the chronological order. So I prefer to have the newest at the top, but of course that's just a matter of preference. It doesn't really matter. We will get back to those listings in a second. Let's go back to the hello buffer. You will notice that the recent searches over here contain the new entry that we tried earlier. The reason I said that I don't really need this is because when you hit the letter S, you can press Meta P to go backward in history, or Meta N to go forward. So you can always find what you are looking for. No need to keep this around. At any rate, when you have when you have searches like these, you can save them either through this interface over here, or directly from your configuration file, directly with Emacs Lisp, which is what I prefer to do. And those searches will appear over here in the interface over here, and you can just focus an item, hit the return key, and you will visit that listing. Or better, you can hit the letter J, which is to jump to a saved search, and you can associate keys, single keys or key sequences with each of those saved searches, so you can go to them very quickly. So for example, I want to go to the mailing lists, which is bound to L. So I just hit the letter L, and here is the listing that contains the saved search that I have defined over here. From inside of this, you can hit J again and switch to another view. So for example, let's go to ED, so Emacs Devel. We did that. Let's go to Emacs org mode, and we are here as well, and that's very helpful. Let's go back to the mailing list so that we have an unfiltered view of all my mailing lists. And let's say we want to limit this buffer to more search terms. We can do this by hitting the letter L, and then we can provide an arbitrary search. So for example, let's say that we want to search for emails that have been sent to Emacs Devel. So we did that already. We have changed the view, and let's say we want to filter this further, this time by a tag. So we hit the letter T, or you can do it again from L and specify the tag keyword, or you can just hit the letter T and then let's say unread. So we have done that, and let's filter it further if we want for attachment. So you can see how powerful this is. You can always find what you are looking for. Let's dismiss this. So if you hit the letter Q, you go back to the previous search right away, so you will not lose anything. These are regular buffers, of course. You can navigate them using all the means that you have at your disposal for switching buffers. No need to focus on that. And we are back, and you can keep going back. You get the idea. And we are back here. Let's go to the mailing lists again. And it doesn't really matter what we are doing now. We just want to check a thread over here. Let's go to the very first one. It doesn't really matter. You can see over here that there is a count, 4 out of 4. So there are 4 mails over there. Here we have 19, so you can check those. Another way to visualize those results is to hit the letter Z, capital Z, to get a tree style view. Personally, I don't really like this. I prefer the other view that we were earlier. You can get back to it with the letter S and toggle between the two, or you can just hit the letter Q, again, same principle. The reason I prefer this will become apparent right now. Let's open a mail. We hit the return key and we just open it. And you will notice that the first line is styled a bit differently, and so you can hit the return key on it to expand and contract it. So the first line is the header line, and we can move through headers of those emails with N and P, or capital N and capital P. The differences are explained in the docstrings and of course in my .emacs, which I will link to in the description of this video. So when you are in this, of course, I said you can expand or contract them, so you can see you can contract everything. That's very simple. Let's say that what we want to do here is we want to jump directly to one of those emails, but let's go to another one that has more. Let's go to this one with the 19 emails, which is better. So you can jump to those mail headings right away, either through the built-in iMenu command, so Emacs iMenu, or a third-party extension of iMenu. I am using Consult, and it provides the command consult iMenu. So let's invoke that command, and this offers us mini buffer completion, or we can just select an item. Let's select this one from Stefan, and you see we jump directly to that email. So this is very nice indeed, especially when there are lots of emails involved. You can always jump to where you want to go. So let's go back, and let's change let's go here again, and let's check at the top here that we have the tags that are associated to this associated with this email. What we can do over here is we can hit the plus or the minus sign to assign a tag. Let's say that we want to mark it as unread. and we also want to remove the attachment. Actually, we shouldn't remove the attachment, but for demo purposes, that's what we will do. So you will see the tag that is added is underlined, and the tag that is removed is struck through over there. And actually, we don't want to do that. So let's remove the unread and let's add back the attachment so you can see how that works. You can do it, of course, for all items on in this thread. Let's try this by hitting the asterisk. So notice that there is one unread item. Let's remove the unread from this list, and let's add let's add, I don't know, let's add del, so to delete them. That would be the idea. So you see how it operated on all of them. Let's do this again one last time. Remove the del, and you see how that works. Let's remove the unread as well. We don't want to read this. So you see how effective this is. Another way that you can operate on messages is by hitting the letter K for keys, because you can have those kind of additions and removals of tags be done automatically. So for example, I have an item that will mark it for deletion and will also remove it from the inbox. So I can do K and D, but you get the idea. It's the same principle, no need to belabor that point. You can, of course, configure that from your .emacs. Just to note that notmuch as well has configuration options to contract emails like this, so you can always do that as well. But let's not spend too much time on those little buttons. You can check this on your own. Let's go to another list. Let's go to my unread. Generic unread. I have checked this before doing the video so that I don't accidentally disclose any private information. So what I have here is some emails that I was experimenting with earlier, because I was making some minor tweaks to my command for sending me the diary entries for the day. I have talked about this in a recent video. You can check my backlog. So what I want to do now is I want to create a region that spans those 3 lines. It doesn't have to be from the very beginning to the very end. It just has to delimit 3 lines. So what I want to do now is hit either plus or minus, it doesn't really matter, to operate on those 3 lines. So let's say I want to hit minus and I want to do unread. The reason it doesn't matter when you hit minus or plus is because you can follow it up afterwards with a plus as well if you do minus. So it doesn't really make a difference, or you can continue with a minus, okay? But this is the idea. So I want to remove the unread tag from those 3 entries. You can see how I did that right away, and I can just hit G and refresh the buffer, generate the buffer anew, and they are off to where they need to be. There is another entry over here from Daniel Mendler. I see that I was mentioned on Reddit. I just checked it briefly, but I'm not sure what it is about. I have to read that thread. So let's say that this should be a to-do. So I just assign that to-do tag, and you see how that works. So I can find it from my saved search for to-do. When you are in buffers, in notmuch buffers like this, you can always, with the help of the ol-notmuch library, which is an extension to org mode, you can create a link to any search that you want by hitting Control C and L. I have it org store link. I have it stored. I have it bound to this key binding, and this creates a link to this specific buffer. So let's go to an org buffer over here, a scratch buffer for org, and let's add this link right here, and let's kill this buffer. Okay, I just killed that buffer, and we are over here right now. Let's follow that link. You see right away magic happens. Same principle when you are capturing email. I have talked about org capture in the past. I won't show this again right now, it doesn't really matter, but basically it's the same idea. You have a backlink directly to that context, whether it is a specific email that you are looking at or a list like this, it will just work. So let's go again to the mailing lists, and let's say that I want to reply to some, actually I don't want to reply, but let's say that I would like to reply to this thread. I want to join this conversation. So I just hit a key and I can already start commenting on those. This puts us in the built-in notmuch.el library. So this is not specific to notmuch. What you can do here is different, is independent of notmuch. As always, by the way, whenever you are in a new major mode, you can do Control-H-M and check the documentation for that. I have talked about this in the past many times. For example, the message mode buffers have the Control-C, Control-Z command to delete up to the signature. And when you are here, you can start typing, of course. And let's say I want to attach an email, attach something, Control-C, Control-A, and you specify a file. Let's say that I want to, I don't know, send them my .emacs, because why not? Okay, that's too many prompts, so you don't want to do that. What you normally want to do when you want to assign rather add an attachment is you want to be in a dired buffer. Let's rotate this. So this is the directory editor of Emacs, dired. Let's remove this so that you see how it works. When you are in dired, you can just attach the item at point, Control-C, Control-M, Control-A, and you just hit yes, and it works much faster than all those prompts. And of course, you can also do it for the marked items, and it works as well. This is a killer feature. I really like that. Let's remove those. And of course, the message L can also be encrypted. For example, like this, Control-M, Control-C, Control-M, Control-E. Notice in the mode line that it says Control-C ret Control-E. This is because Control-M is interpreted as ret by Emacs due to legacy reasons. I'm not sure. I think because of the terminal emulators. But of course, you can do everything. And when you're done, you just hit Control-C twice and it sends the email. Control-C, Control-K to cancel this, and you are out. When you are composing email, so let's go to this buffer just so that we have another buffer. There is a command called compose mail, which is by default bound to Control-X and the letter M, but of course you can bind it to a notmuch specific variant of this, Control-X M, and when you do that, it will prompt you for one of your emails if you have multiple of them. So let's say that I want to have my info mail, and you can see I can specify that, and it will change things accordingly. So it will change the from field header, and it will also add the FCC paraphernalia over here so that it files it where it needs to be. So basically that's an idea of notmuch, folks. You read email, that's the basics of it, but the real power of notmuch is with its searching facilities and everything you can do to find exactly what you need. Let's go to my .emacs over here. As I said, I will provide the link to this file so you can search it. The reason I provide the link and not a snapshot of my current configurations, by the way, is because this is a living document and I always iterate on it. What you should do is that you should check my .emacs, and there you will find a link to my Git repo, and you should refer to the Git repo if you want to stay up to date. So anyhow, from here I have links to my mbsync configuration file. mbsync is the utility that syncs mailboxes, synchronizes them from the server to your local directory. The sendmail command, I just use the sendmail program, the standard sendmail program, and Emacs can handle that on its own, so you don't need an external tool for that. However, there are other options as well. For example, there is a program called MSMTP. So I haven't really checked that out, but that's a thing as well. There are also, let's see, I have it over here. Yeah, that's also something that I have, which is the notmuch post new rules. Actually, let's see them. So this is an important aspect of the notmuch configuration. How did this end up here? But anyhow, so this is an important part of the notmuch configuration because you can filter email as soon as it arrives and add tags to it so it goes in the right place. So for example, you can see here that the mailing lists are removed from the inbox, are given a list tag and an Emacs tag because those are all specific to Emacs. And for example, my sent email over here is removed from the unread and the new tags so that I don't have to be notified about it. So basically, that's all I have to say, folks, I think. As I said, you will find everything. One final thing is that you can see in the mode line that I have the @ sign and there is a number next to it. That is an indicator that shows how many unread items there are. You can see over here we have 3 items and this appears in the mode line. That's very simple to do, of course, with notmuch. You just, let's actually see how you can do it. Notmuch, this is eShell. Notmuch search, let's say for example tag unread, and we will pass this so you can see how we have a total of all those items. Actually that is incorrect. Why is it like that? 44. Yeah, because I haven't refreshed that buffer. Yeah, anyway, it is. I am curious now what I did wrong and why it is. Yeah, because I think I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong now. I cannot see it. I have to think about it a bit. But anyway, not to bother you with this, I'm not sure what I am doing wrong and why it shows all those. Maybe it's because I have others in the to-do as well. Yeah, I have some others. I have to check it now. Anyway, that's all for now, folks. Thank you very much for your attention. Notmuch is a powerful tool. I was using GNU's for more than a year, and I switched to it 2 days ago. I switched away from it 2 days ago. I'm very happy with Notmuch. I'm very happy with what it provides, and and the reason I switched is because I really like the idea of not being tied to a complex file system, file tree, directory tree structure. So I prefer to be flexible. I prefer to be able to bring into focus mail that is stored in arbitrary directories. I don't need to think too much about where the email is stored, and this is consistent with everything I do in Emacs, where we have completion, where we have fuzzy search and all those things. I don't really need to have things being placed in specific places and for me to have the mental overload of having to remember where each of them is. So searching is the way to go, filtering is the way to go, fuzzy search and so on are the way to go. That's all for now, folks. Thank you very much for your attention. Goodbye.